Hello and welcome to Auction Update. We're going to give you the results of what turned out to be the second busiest week so far this year. Back in just a moment. Welcome back. As I said at the top of the show, this last week was the second busiest week we've had so far this year for auctions all around the capital cities. Let's bring up our final clearance rates for you. We'll quickly work through those. Last week, 2,912 auctions held across the combined capital cities. As I said, the second busiest week. The weighted average clearance rate held above 70% across the two busiest weeks of the year, coming in at 71.1% last week, slightly lower than the 73.6% previous week. 1 year ago, as a point of interest, 2,631 capital city homes were auctioned, less than 50% of those actually cleared. Melbourne, 1,520 auctions last week, returning a final auction clearance rate of 73.2%, while in Sydney, 976 homes taken to auction, down a little bit on the previous week of 1,221 auctions. Final clearance rate in Sydney fell over the week, down from 78.1% to 73.8%. Interesting to see too that across the smaller capital cities, Canberra returned the highest clearance rate of 70.8% last week, while only 42.1% of homes sold across Perth. So let's have a look now at the Sydney sub-regions, and we can see firstly, let's highlight North Sydney and Hornsby, 81.9% off 160 auctions, down a little bit on the previous week. Also highlighting Ryde, 81.1% off 44 auctions, up slightly on the preceding week, and also Blacktown, 81.3% off 24 auctions, up quite substantially from 63.6% just last week. Okay, let's bring up the Melbourne sub-regions for you now, and we can see here Inner South and Northeast, both recording 78 in the 78% range, up on the previous weeks, and also Inner and Inner East, 77.7% for Inner and 77.1% for Inner East. Pretty much the same as the preceding week, and if you look at those auction numbers too across those four regions, they're all pretty much the same. I want to feature an auction that's happening tomorrow. Our good friend Tim Heavyside from Fletcher's is taking a property to auction tomorrow at 10 a.m. I love this video. We featured it in our property show this week also. It's Tim talking to Shirley, the property owner. Just a lovely video.
Hi, my name's Tim Heavyside. I work at Fletcher's Real Estate. It's my pleasure to introduce you to this fantastic property, 1A Devon Street in Box Hill South. Today I've got our vendor whose name is Shirley. Thanks so much for being on the video.
It's my pleasure.
So 1A, is that belong to an owner's corporation, Shirley, or has it got its own title?
It's just separate. It has its own title, totally separate. I've got my own driveway, own front door, everything separate.
Built 2001, how long have you been here?
7 years.
Why did you choose to buy this one?
Position, and had the space I needed. I like the double garage. I like the north-facing backyard, and there was room for a deck.
So now you've put the deck on, what other improvements in your journey over the 7 years have you done?
Sun blinds right along the back, the awning, which gives you shade, and privacy.
And I believe that's automated.
It is.
And downstairs, you've got a main bedroom. I believe you've reconfigured that.
I did, because I like to be downstairs, and I put guests upstairs.
So let's go through the floor plan. The home offers 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 2 separate living areas, double automated garage with internal access. What do you enjoy about living here?
It's a good house for entertaining, it's very comfortable, but for me it was also good for the transport over the road. I could catch a bus and go anywhere.
It's got pretty low maintenance gardens, front and rear.
Yes.
Looks like you look after things there. Is it pretty easy to maintain?
Oh yes, yeah. I've got a PowerPoint and an electric mower, and it takes 5 minutes to mow the lawn.
Shirley, let's talk about the kitchen. It's
Yeah.
very light and bright. I mean, it faces onto the north, and you've got that beautiful orientation out to the north-facing rear yard.
Yeah.
But you've put that kitchen in. When did you do that?
Oh, it's only just finished in about June.
Easy access to Box Hill Centro. You've got the train station, all those yummy cafes, restaurants there.
There's a coffee shop at the end of the street.
50 birds.
50 birds.
You're not too far away from the Gardeners Creek.
I used to take the dog down, I used to take my bike down and go along all the trails down there.
So I guess it begs the question, why are you thinking about selling?
I think I've decided that I want to downsize.
Well, Shirley, that about wraps it up. Now, this is our second home that we're going to be selling together. I sold your last property 7 years ago.
You did.
And I know you're a wonderful person and you've looked after your property here, and the buyers are going to experience that, and you've been a wealth of information today. So thank you so much.
Well, I hope the new owner enjoys it as much as I have.
Very well said. Now, on behalf of Shirley and the whole team here at Fletcher's, we're very excited about meeting you and helping you buy this special home. We'll see you soon.
And that property in Box Hill South, Tim Heavyside taking that one to auction tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Okay, well, let's have a look at what's coming up this weekend with the auction numbers. Comparison for you here last week to this week, or this week to last week. There are 2,737 auctions across the cap cities this weekend. Volumes expected to be down only about 6% on last week, where we saw 2,912 auctions. There are 1,300 auctions happening in Melbourne, down from last week's 1,520. Sydney, the number of homes scheduled to auction there, expected to fall slightly, with 909 scheduled to take place, down from 976 the preceding week. Interesting that 1 year ago, that number was 723. Across the smaller auction markets, volumes are set to be higher across Brisbane at 185, Canberra 127, Perth 73, Tasmania 8. Adelaide will see fewer auctions held over the week, 135. So there you go, that's your summary for the end of the week. I'll be back with Tim Lawless on Monday, and we'll have a look at the auctions that occurred over the weekend. I'm Kevin Turner, thanks for being with us. Look forward to catching up with you on Monday.